Live from WTOC, the Southeast news leader. The News Now starts on WTOC Plus.
Thanks for joining us here for the news on WTOC Plus. I'm digital anchor Jude Binkley. The Savannah Ghost Pirates, along with the rest of the ECHL, could be heading for a strike by the end of the week. It's according to the union representing the players. The Professional Hockey Players Association announced yesterday that its ECHL membership served a strike notice effective this Friday, December 26th, after players voted last Friday. Now, the union cited health and safety issues as well as pay in an open letter to fans. It said in part, quote, "Many players have shared that they feel disrespected, undervalued, and taken for granted. As of today, after reviewing the league's most recent response, there has been no meaningful movement toward a fair resolution." Now, the league itself responded, outlining their latest offer to the players and saying, in part, "We believe the players would much prefer to continue playing and supporting the fans and communities we serve while we work through negotiations. WTOC will continue to follow this story as Friday's strike deadline quickly approaches." I do apologize. We're having some issues with our system right now. I'm trying to remove this graphic from the screen. It's not working. Give me 1 minute. There we go. I do apologize with that. We are having some issues with our graphic system this morning. We are trying to work out. But continuing with our stories for the day, 2025 was a busy year for the city of Savannah. Violent crime is one topic that's been on everyone's mind, including Mayor Van Johnson's. There have been 27 reported homicides so far this year, 2 more than the same time last year. Now, looking back, WTOC has covered some major violent crimes, including the Oglethorpe Mall shooting back in July, as well as the recent acid attack near Forsyth Park that happened earlier this month. Our Cam McCann sat down with Mayor Johnson to review the year and what's to come in the future as we close out 2025.
One of the things that you've tried to hammer home, especially these last couple weeks and months, is the violent crimes down on the whole in Savannah. Can you kind of talk about why you think that is and what concrete steps you guys have taken to bring down violent crime in Savannah?
Well, I mean, not why I think, why our statistics say that they are. And again, I think it's a variety of a couple of things, the things that we can control. So what can we control? We can control our police presence and our police interactions. We can control our access and use of technology. We can control our beats and how we respond to areas of known crime in a very intelligent way. We can address those issues. We can prevent young people from being involved in crime and violent crime by giving them alternatives. I'm still out here buying guns from people because I'd rather the gun be in my hands than to be in the hands of somebody who can use them.
Well, turning now to state news, after an hours-long manhunt, 3 dangerous inmates who escaped from the DeKalb County Jail are back behind bars this morning. Nimani Watson with our sister station has the latest.
Well, the sheriff's office says all 3 inmates were back in custody around 1:30 this morning. The sheriff's office will be holding a press conference around 11 a.m. giving more details about those arrests. Now, authorities say the 3 inmates were discovered missing during a routine security check early Monday morning. All 3 were in jail for serious charges. Yusuf Minor charged with armed robbery, Nayad Yohannes charged with assault and arson, and Stevenson Charles charged with murder. Authorities have not said how the inmates may have broken out at this time, but dispatchers on scanner traffic said they heard reports of loud noises coming from the vent inside the jail and found a rope tied to a vent extending out of the jail. Yesterday, deputies surrounded the perimeter of the facility as DeKalb Police, the Sheriff's Office, and the U.S. Marshals Service searched for the inmates. Atlanta News First spoke with people in the area while the inmates were still on the run.
We know that this individual, it sounds like all 3 of the individuals are violent individuals, and so I'm concerned that they would hurt somebody while they're trying to get away. And I'm very confident they're going to get arrested again. But what happens in that meantime?
Again, all 3 inmates now back in custody this morning. It is unclear what new charges the inmates will face. Again, the sheriff's office will hold a press conference at 11 a.m. with more details on the arrest, and will, of course, bring you the very latest information. Reporting in DeKalb County, I'm Niamani Watson, Atlanta News First.
Well, in the Low Country, a Beaufort County family says they're grateful for people wanting to build memorial crosses to honor their daughter, Maya Washington. She was just 18 years old when she was killed in a car crash this year. It happened in McIntosh County back in September. According to police, the car picked up speed, ignored a stop sign, and flew off the road off of exit 58. The car overturned several times and ejected 2 people, while Washington was in the car and had to be taken out by first responders. 2 people have been charged in her case. The memorial crosses will sit at the crash site and behind the family's home, but there are plans others can get involved in honoring Maya's life.
Maya would want people to practice grace, practice kindness, find some people in your life that you just need to forgive, and spread joy everywhere you go.
The family is also planning other community events in her honor, including a butterfly release and scholarship opportunities for students. You can hear more from Maya's mom on WTOC.com. Well, if you or someone you know has ever been in crisis, or if you're feeling extra stressed during the holidays, you may have dialed 988 for support, and the state has dozens of folks answering those calls that sometimes involve life or death circumstances. But how well equipped are those people to deal with those calls, and are there enough people picking up the phones? Anna Harris spoke to those on the other line to see if that you really are in safe hands.
And I called the crisis line. I'm like, hey, nothing's on fire. Everything's okay. I just need this resource.
For 988 operator Jennifer Piver, it all started 26 years ago.
And I remember the woman being so kind and saying, well, is there anything you want to talk about? And when I saw the ad, I was like, you know what? I can ask other people if they have something they want to talk about.
From using the service to today, she is now the executive director of Mental Health America of Greenville County.
So how does it keep you from going back to work every day when it can be so heavy?
I accredit our training. We put in well over 100 hours of training before people can independently work shifts by themselves.
The Department of Behavioral Health and Developmental Disabilities says this training includes both national and center-based requirements, like training modules, in-class work, shadowing experienced callers, and countless role-playing what a call could really be like.
To be honest, you're never best prepared for taking a 988 call simply because you don't know what type of call you're getting until you pick up the phone and answer it.
So how well are these call takers even performing? We requested call performance data and summary reports from the state BHDD Office of Mental Health between June 2023 and August of this year. As far as what's working, the number of folks knowing about 988 through promotionals, the start of chat and text features, and centers improving the way they document the calls. But it also includes notes of lack of staffing and repeatedly failing to meet the state-recommended goal of answering 90% of calls originating in South Carolina.
The state's only met that once.
Yeah, in June of 2025.
Is that concern you at all?
It does concern me because I also think, we have more people reaching out that are needing help. How can we make sure that we have enough people available to answer?
Jessica Kobernick is the department's suicide prevention program manager who oversees 988. She says the reason they aren't meeting the mark is because the number of people working doesn't always match the demand. Kobernick says the Charleston-Dorchester Mental Health Center has 21 call takers, plus 2 support staff, and 9 vacancies. To compare, Piver says Mental Health America of Greenville has 30 people staffed, and they are about to have 8 openings. They say they have the hardest time getting people to want to work overnight. However, there are always people covering every shift no matter what, in hopes they touch every local in need.
We want to have local people answering the lifeline because we do know our local resources. You can feel a little bit of a connection in a time where it could feel so lonely, especially for people who might be thinking about suicide.
When the call ends, 988 support continues.
Each call center kind of has your group or your team that you're working with that you know that you can reach out to and ask for help anytime. And then it is actually a requirement for them to talk with their supervisor afterwards.
We really value that the belief of safe spaces and time, people can heal, and we're that for each other too.
But what kind of person should be answering these calls?
Great listening skills. You possess empathy. And also, if you're an advocate for those that have mental health issues and want to make a difference.
What is the reason why you do this?
I do this because I have found that people don't always carry their own hope. And sometimes we need to carry a little bit of hope for them. And when you're in a place of, if it's a suicidal crisis or a behavioral health crisis, a lot of times you just can't see it. You cannot see that hope out there. And so I want to help remind people that there is hope.
You do not have to be suicidal to call. Even though we can't promise things are going to get better and that the sun will come out tomorrow, but we can be there in those dark moments. And hopefully in those moments, people can find that hope as well.
For Live 5 Investigates, I'm Anna Harris.
Well, welcome back to the news on WTOC Plus. Starting tomorrow, Christmas Eve, South Carolina law enforcement are stepping up patrols during the holiday rush. Drivers across the low country can expect to see more officers and state troopers on the roads. Officials are reminding drivers that drinking and driving is never worth the risk. Some state leaders say they plan to push for tougher impaired driving laws when the next legislative session begins.
The laws need to be changed in order to protect people here out in South Carolina. We have the highest, death rate in the state, the country from that standpoint. And the dangers of the DUI, we need a new DUI law. Right now, it doesn't cover like drug cases, different other kind of cases involving marijuana, even vape pens.
State data shows 46 fatal crashes tied to impaired driving during the 2024-2025 travel period in South Carolina. Well, turning now to Washington, where lawmakers are trying to regulate big tech with a renewed focus on younger users. Senators are reintroducing the Kids Online Safety Act after it failed to pass both chambers last year. WTOC Washington correspondent Stephen Goyne has the details.
We know that kids are facing more and more dangers online, from bullying to sextortion. Lawmakers are now negotiating the details of a bill aimed at reducing those risks. In the infinite world of social media, these days, that endless stream of content reaching younger and younger users. But parents say what happens online is causing real-world harm. For years, families protesting and pushing Congress to step in.
These kids are being exposed to things that their naive young minds probably should not ever be exposed to.
Just weeks ago, this Ohio mom testifying about her son who took his own life.
James was the victim of financial sextortion, and though he died by suicide, let me be clear, he was murdered.
Now there's renewed momentum for change, with Tennessee Senator Marsha Blackburn reintroducing the Kids Online Safety Act. The bill passed overwhelmingly in the Senate last year, but stalled in the House. Blackburn says this time could be different.
We feel good about getting this across the finish line, and there's also more attention being paid to it because of AI.
The bill requires social media platforms to exercise, quote, reasonable care to prevent harm to minors. However, a House GOP version of the bill narrows what kind of harm companies are legally responsible for. Some lawmakers have also argued the legislation could lead to censorship.
100% of us support the principle behind it, but you got to get this one right.
I think the argument that tech has made that it infringes on their free speech is beginning to fall on deaf ears. These tech companies know that they are harming children.
The bill's supporters say without stronger oversight, kids remain vulnerable online. Blackburn with this message for parents.
I think it's important for parents to be talking to other parents and people that are working with young people and to educate themselves.
In Washington, I'm Stephen Gowen.
And staying in Washington, Georgia Governor Brian Kemp was in the nation's capital this holiday season to visit members of the Georgia National Guard. The visit served as a show of support and appreciation for Guardsmen during this period where they're spending the holidays away from home. Governor Brian Kemp and First Lady Marty Kemp joined other state leaders to spend time with Georgia National Guard members. Again, the visit aimed to offer a morale boost to troops who are away from home. That all follows a deployment that was announced earlier this fall to support President Trump's security efforts in the nation's capital. And looking ahead, everyone's counting down to Christmas, and maybe no one more eagerly than Santa himself. To prepare for his global journey, NORAD is making plans and checking them twice. This time of year, NORAD uses technology to be Santa's official tracker. Their tradition of tracking Santa began purely by accident. In 1955, a young child trying to reach Santa misdialed a printed phone number from an ad in the local newspaper. Instead of calling Santa, the child called the Continental Air Defense Command Operations Center. The commander on duty answered the call and didn't want to let the child down and told the child where Santa was. Every year since then, NORAD has officially tracked Santa's whereabouts on Christmas Eve. It's become one of the Department of Defense's largest community outreach programs.
Our number one mission is the continental defense of the North American continent. And so it's very transparent to transfer those systems over and utilize them to track the world's greatest aviator, Santa.
And NORAD says while they track Santa, they can't predict when he will arrive at your house. But they say he usually shows up between 9 p.m. and midnight on December 24th, as long as everyone's asleep. And we will have the Santa tracker right here on WTOC Plus on Christmas Eve on the secondary stream. If you'd like to tune in or just, throw it on, watch it throughout your Christmas evening. And finally, someone in Georgia just got an early Christmas gift this morning. One ticket sold in the Peach State matched 5 numbers, meaning that person won $1 million. So you should check your ticket right now because it could be you. The winning numbers are 3, 18, 36, 41, 54, and the Powerball was 7. Now, nobody won the jackpot yet. The next drawing is tomorrow night on Christmas Eve. That jackpot has now climbed to $1.7 billion. And with that, we're going to wrap things up here for the news on WTOC Plus. We appreciate you spending part of your morning with us. We'll be back for another round of stories in just about 40 minutes at the top of the hour. And in the meantime, you can always head on over to our website to catch the latest updates at WTOC.com. Thanks for watching, and here's Local News Live.